أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You're welcome to the fourth week of our program, the basic level in Arabic and Islamic studies. And once again, you're welcome to our reading and writing class, Al-Qira'atu wal-Kitaba. In today's class, inshallah, we're going to talk about the writing positions of the letter Jeem, Harful Jeem, the letter Jeem. So this is exactly what we're going to talk about, inshallah. So the note you are seeing here is the lesson note. So I'm going to take you now to the whiteboard. So as you can see, this is the letter Jeem, the normal letter Jeem. So this is our letter Jeem. Okay, the Jeem is written this way. However, this is Jeem in its isolated position. The Jeem in its isolated position. Okay, so when can you write Jeem like this? If you could still remember, the same rule that applies to the letter Ba, Ta, Fa, while in the isolated position also applies to the letter Jim and any letter, any of the Arabic letters. Okay, so this is our letter Jim. When do we write letter Jim this way? It is when one of the 6 special letters comes before the letter Jim. So why is that? Since these 6 letters cannot accommodate any letter from the left rather, from the left. Okay, so our 6 special letters, let me remind you, are Alif, Dal, Val, Ra, Zai, and Wow. So these are our special letters. Whenever any of these 6 letters comes before any letter in the Arabic, among the Arabic letters, the letter that comes after it will have to be written independently, as long as the letter itself does not connect again with another letter. So we're talking about when the letter actually ends a word. When the letter actually ends a word. Okay, let me give you an example to make this clearer. So look at this. Remember, we're talking about the letter G in its isolated position. This is the Jin, okay? So you can see the letter G is written like this, simply because the letter Alif, one of the special letters, comes before it. Okay, how about Hajun, Hajun, Hajun? So you have the same result. Okay, this is Ha, Fatha, Alif Mad. Okay, Ha, Fatha, Alif Mad, Ha. Then we have the Jim. So the Jim, our Jim here, comes after one of the special letters, which is Alif. So it's going to be written this way. There is no other way you can write it. So, and you can see it actually ends a word. Okay, so this is our letter Jim, Hajun. So you yourself can formulate a word that will end with Jim, and also the Jim will be preceded by one of the special letters. Okay, let us come up with an example where the letter wa will come before the Jeem. Okay. Zawjun, zawjun, a husband. Zawjun. So you can see what I'm talking about. Zawjun. Okay, so this is our wow and this is our Jeem, one of the special letters. Okay, what will happen then if, let's say, we connect the wow with the Jeem? So what do you expect that will happen? It will distort the form of the wow. It will distort the shape. So the wow will no longer be wow again. Let us try the impossible. This is the wow and the Jeem. Wow and the Jeem. So what did you think you write? So this is now wow, and it is neither fa nor qaf. Okay, though it gives a shape that looks like either qaf or fa, but since there is no dot here, it cannot be called fa or qaf. How about wow? Never. So the shape has already been distorted, has been deformed. Okay, so that is exactly the reason. All right, how about this Dajin? If we try to connect the alif with the Jeem, so what is going to happen? We're going to have another letter. This is the only letter that if it is distorted, it will still form another recognizable letter. But other letters will not. Like this now. So the alif has turned to lam, and this is not what we expected. This is what we wanted to write. The alif, it is alif that we wanted to write. So anytime you hear anything, don't worry. After this, once we are through with the Arabic alphabet, we'll begin with dictation. Okay, so that is when your knowledge will be tested. So the lam is not what we intended to write here. So this is incorrect. Okay, when you hear dajun, just imagine that I wrote D double A then J U N dajun, and I ask you to write this in Arabic, rewrite it, transliterate it into Arabic. How are you going to do that? Just follow the sound. Da, you see? Da, that means it begins with dal. Then the double A represents mad, elongation. Jun, see, this is Jeem, and the Jeem has tanween on it. Okay, so how are you expected to write this? Remember the alif mad is here. Okay, this is exactly what I'm talking about. So alif is here, and the letter, this Jun must never connect with the mad. All right, I hope this is clear. Let's move on to another writing position. Okay, so we're through, alhamdulillah, with the letter Jeem when it is written independently, when it stands alone. Okay, how about when it begins a word? Yeah, when it begins a word, this is how we should write it. We've already know the rule. Okay, usually when a letter begins a word, it is expected to be written in a way that will not give an impression that a letter is connecting to it from this side, So this is going to be closed, just like the letter ba. Okay, your letter ba must not begin like this. It has to begin like this. The letter ta must also begin like this, and tha must begin like this. And this is because it is the first letter in that particular word. Okay, so nothing should be connected to it. When you write it this way, it signifies that a letter is connecting to it from this side and from this side. Okay, look at our letter Jeem, for example. This is our Jeem when it begins a word. Okay, so this side is closed. Okay, don't bother yourself about this angle. It has to have this shape. So, and this is left open for a letter that we connect to it. So this is our Jeem. Okay, let me give you an example of a Jeem that begins a word. Jamalun. Jamalun. This is our Jeem. Jeem, Mim, and Lam. Dhamma, Jamalun. So Jamalun, a camel. Jamalun, a camel. So we have Jabalun, a rock or a mountain. Jabalun. Okay, so this is our Jeem, and this is Ba, and this is Lam. Jaddun, Jaddun, Jaddun. Jaddun means a grandfather. Jaddun, a grandfather. Okay, so look at our Jeems. So they all are written the same way because they began the word. They are the first letters that began the words. Okay, so this is the Jeem. So remember, this is how it should be written. So anytime you hear, the importance of all this is to teach you how to properly write Arabic words. Okay, so whenever a letter begins with J, so it sounds like, you know, a letter that corresponds with what you know in Arabic. So that is exactly what you are going to do. Let's say we say this is our J, J, La, Sa, Jalasa. Okay, so this is the word you are given, whether in written form or it was dictated to you. So just follow the sound. Jalasa. How many letters are there in Arabic? Jalasa. This should be 3 letters. Okay, let us assume that you haven't learned how to write the lam that comes in between the Jim and the last letter, which is sin. Now you should know how to write Jim properly. Remember, the beginner tend to separate each letter. So this is now what you are expected to write, like this. Ja, la, se. You are not writing. If you write it like this, you are not writing. So we expect you to connect it, and that is when it will look like a real word. Okay, so that is exactly what you are learning here. Okay, inshallah. So this is our Jim that begins a word. So what rule are you going to follow? Okay, make sure the beginning of the word doesn't give a space for a letter from, you know, the right to connect to it, but it will give a space for another letter to connect to it, or for it to connect to another letter. All right, I hope this is clear. Let's move on to another writing position of the letter G. So now we have learned how to write the letter G when it is isolated, and that is when it ends a word. And also we learned how to write the letter G when it begins a word. So when it is in the middle of a word, how to write it? So this is what we are expecting. Okay, this is our G. Let me write it properly. So this is our G. Okay. So this Jeem may be confusing because it has different style of writing. Okay, we're not talking about position now. The position is the same. It's going to come in the middle of a word. But sometimes when you are reading a text or you are reading Quran, Jeem in the middle may be written this way or another way. Okay. Anyway, it is too early. It is too early. So just focus on this. But sometimes it may be written this way, and maybe it is noon that will be here. And this is Jim. So let's say we have Aleph here. Okay. So don't ever mistake it for another writing position of the letter J. This is a letter J in the middle, okay? So just follow the sound. This is Naja, 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 Naja. So Naja, if you want to write it, so if it is dictated to you, you know it should begin with noon, then Jim, then mat, Naja, Naja. So what is the position of the letter Jim there? It is in the middle. Okay, what concerns you is the position of the Jim, and that is it. So this is it. Remember, this space signifies a letter coming to connect to the letter Jim, since it is in the middle. And how about this? It also signifies a letter that the Jim is going to connect to. All right. So let me give you examples. Let's clear this first. Okay. So hijabun, hijabun, hijabun. So this is hijab. Hijab is hijab. Hijabun. Okay. Sijillun. Sijillun. Register. Sorry. Sijillun. Shajarun. Shajarun. A tree. Shajarun. A tree. Okay, just look at the gene, and I want you also to observe the sound. Think about, look at the sound. Hijabun. If I ask you to write it in English or to transliterate it into English, so this is what you are expected to write. And this is hijabun. Okay. Hijabun. Then you have the ba with tanween, hijabun. Okay, so hijabun, if whether this is dictated or it is written, you must know that a letter has already come before the Jim, which makes the Jim appear this way. It has to appear this way. Do not separate the letter. Don't write hijabun. Don't write it this way. You're not writing if you write it this way. You're only spelling. You are asked to write, not to spell. Okay. So I hope this is clear. Now we move on to the last position. Remember, it has 4 writing positions. So the last position is when it ends a word. When it ends a word. So it connects to the end of a word. Okay, this is how it's going to be written. This is our gene. Okay. This is our Jeem. This space is for a letter that is coming from this side to connect to it. And the Jeem, when it is written in full form, means it has already ended. Okay. But this only signifies that a letter is connecting to it. So that is the difference between this form of Jeem and the Jeem when it is isolated. You know, when it is isolated, nothing is going to connect to it. So this is your Jeem, the standalone Jeem, the isolated Jeem. So, but this one is another Jeem that connects to the end of a word. All right, so now this is the Jeem we want to talk about now. So this is the Jeem. How would you know that the Jeem ends a word? How do you know that? Or how are you going to know that? Just follow the sound. When a word ends with J, you should know that it is Jeem. So just write it that way. So, but if it is elongated before the last letter, before the J, you should know that the Jeem is going to stand alone. The Jeem is going to stand alone. Okay. Now, so okay, let me give you an example. We have Hajja, 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 Hajja. Okay, Hajja, Hajja. Just follow the sound. You can see how it sounded. Hajja, Dojja, Dojja, Shajja, Shajja, Damaja, 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 Damaja. Okay. So all these words end with Jeem. In English, with J. It is the letter J that sounds similar to the letter Jeem, to our Jeem in Arabic. I hope this is clear. So, Barakallahu fikum. I pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will increase your knowledge. Barakallahu fikum. Subhanakallahumma bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa ant. أستغفرك وأتوب إليك والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته